Celebrity historian Raffi Andonian is going to join us, and he's talking about something specific. We're talking about the history of pretzels, which is interesting, right? Because you want those carbs, I feel like, during these fall
And I'm pretty
months.
sure they use poisonous chemicals to make pretzels.
Ooh, we'll find out more from Raffi there. Yes, look who's back. It's celebrity historian Raffi Andonian joining us again. Obviously, we're talking about pretzels.
That's right.
Yeah, it's October. You got
treats.
so many different tasty treats here. What do we need to know? Where did pretzels start? Give us a history.
Well, pretzels go back a long time, but actually what's fascinating to me is a tie to the history of the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Now, think about Lent. You know how Lent, you got to give up stuff, but it used to be a lot stricter than it is now. You basically had to go vegan. You couldn't eat meat, dairy, eggs. Well, what is pretzel made out of? Pretzel's made out of water, flour, salt, and of course yeast, right? That's the basic ingredients. They have different variables, but at the time, that's what you're eating. Now, it was soft at the time. It was not hard as you have now. So sometimes you can still find a soft pretzel, but that was the commonplace at the time. No hard pretzels yet, unless you overcooked
interesting.
it.
Okay, so unless you overcooked it, right?
That's right. Now, what happens is, because of its usefulness in Lent, it kind of spreads in popularity across Europe over the course of centuries.
Because it's tasty also,
It is
right?
also tasty.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is that eventually, by the time you get to about 500 years ago, the Ottoman Empire is actually at some point invading in Austria. And there's this kind of a story that is pretty commonly told that says that the Austrian monks that were baking pretzels in the basement got tipped off about the invasion that was coming from the Ottomans.
Okay.
And as a result, they were actually able to hold off and anticipate the invasion from the Ottomans in Austria. This is 500 years ago. Because of pretzels.
Really? All because of pretzels, right?
Pretzels. Now, here's what's fascinating about the Ottomans. I actually have family that goes back to the Ottoman Empire. I'm part Armenian, mostly Armenian, and my family just maybe 3-4 generations ago was in Turkey, before it was Turkey, in the Ottoman, in the last days of the Ottoman Empire. And there's a version of pretzel that my family actually makes.
I was going to say, do you have like a family recipe?
I do. So we call it kahké, K-H-K-E. Kahké is what we call it.
Okay.
And it's a little bit different in the sense that it still has the flour and salt and water and yeast, but it has black caraway and a spice called maleb in it.
Okay.
And it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. It's still crunchy. It's still used very similarly, kind of a treat that you might have with a drink or something like that, or kind of served to a guest or something. And there's actually a recipe available online that you can check out as well.
Wow,
that's with Nicole.com. We can show folks.
Does it have the knot? When did a pretzel?
It does. It kind of so the kahké version is kind of round, a little bit knotted. These versions were twisted or sometimes in rods. At some point, though, what happens in the early part of the 20th century is they make the hard pretzel intentionally, not overcooked. The hard pretzel is part of the reason it's so commonplace throughout the United States today, because it is easier to transport.
Yeah, Bo, I see that you're taking a lot of notes over there at the podium. Are you getting all this down?
Yeah, I mean, when Raffi comes in, there's a lot of facts, so I thought I'd take some notes and try to remember and soak all this stuff in. So far, I got that Lent is delicious, and the Ottoman Empire invaded, but they fended them off with pretzel weapons.
Yep.
And all pretzels were invented in Pennsylvania.
Yes, I'm glad that you're taking notes on all of this. Absolutely accurate. I would love to see a pretzel weapon if you could make that up.
I think it's such a versatile food. You can put all kinds of spices if you want. If you want to kind of mess around with it, you know, you can add spices to it. You can dip it in things. Think about Chex Mix. We mix it in there. You know, we can have it with beer.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways you can have it.
Anything else we need to know about pretzels before we let you go?
No, I think it's just what I would say is when you're eating a pretzel, think about all the history you're eating. Whether it's Lent, whether it's war, we're talking about pretzel weapons.
Yes.
Whether it's the monks, and of course the many cultures and variations of pretzels, and the innovations in your bag right here. Just the fact that you're eating a hard pretzel and the technology that means you're always around history, even if you don't realize it, even if you're hanging out at the bar.
That's right. That's it. That's where I find my pretzels all the time. And you can find him at celebrityhistorian.com. Raffi Andonian joining us once again. Bo, did you get all of that down?
I think so. I'm trying to get all these pretzels down first, but we'll talk.
We'll talk. Yes.
Pretzel eating contest. Let's see if we can eat more.
Stick around. We're going to keep eating pretzels, having fun. We got more fun happening later.